Hey everybody, this is Kyla here from Waveflow, the mindfulness practice that creates ripples of acceptance, meaning, and appreciation. This month, I'm hosting a 10 days of gratitude program in celebration of my new to the market gratitude journaling workbook, Ripple. Today, I invited my friend and fellow Baptiste teacher, Natalia, to join me. Natalia is brilliant, purposeful, and she goes for it. We reflected on taking a lighter perspective, soaking up moments of celebration with family, and how well warm lemon water with ginger pairs with vitamin D. Enjoy our conversation and don't forget to try the practice for yourself. I'll drop all the prompts in the show notes, and I invite you to check out our free mobile app or get a copy of Waveflow's new workbook, Ripple, to discover layers of possibility and meaning making through a month-long commitment to the Waveflow practice. Let's get right into it. Here's Natalia and I diving into our third day of the gratitude program. Hi, Natalia. Thank you so much for hopping into a Waveflow gratitude practice. And if you are listening and you don't know Natalia, we met through Baptiste Power Yoga San Francisco. We're both teachers on the team. And I think there's something special going on there, especially considering we both have since moved to Marin and we still drive over the bridge to go there in the Presidio multiple times a week. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I think, yeah, you can't forget the feeling of a Baptiste practice.
So, Natalia, we're going to dive right into it, starting with our first question. So, can you share with us a quote that you find inspirational and let us know why?
Yeah, my favorite quote is by Ram Dass, and he says, you can do it like it's some great weight on your shoulders, or you can do it like it's all just part of the dance. And I like it a lot because um, I have a constant reminder going in my head to not make things harder than they have to be. And I remember that sometimes the hard parts are part of it too. And so um it reminds me, I read this thing or I heard this interview, I forget where it's from, quite a few years ago, that was saying when you're emptying the dishwasher and you're putting the silverware in the drawer, you're just putting it down, it can be loud and abrasive and clank. Or if you put it down and you listen, it can be kind of like wind chimes or a song. And it's kind of the way you look at it and the way you look at this chore. And that's what the Dass quote reminds me of is if I can take a lighter perspective or if I can find the lighter perspective in things, sometimes a hard thing can become like a dance or it can become fun. So it's more the way I look at it than the way things are.
Okay, so backstory on Natalia. My favorite way to describe her is, do you remember that show Who Wants to Be a Millionaire from the night?
Yes,
It was
that's my dream show.
okay, everyone's dream show. They had that thing on that show where it's like you could phone a friend. And if I were to be put into that show, I would definitely be phoning Natalia first for like any trivia like situation in a high pressure environment. Natalia just pulled that quote out of her, you know what? We have no preparation for these interviews, and you nailed it. Yes, can you give us a moment, like aside from unloading the dishwasher, or a time recently when you like use the message behind that and converted something that you were like taking on as heavy into something light?
Um, yeah, everything and nothing. Um, one of the way that's most prevalent to me right now is like my work is really my day job, which is unfortunately not full-time yoga, is really, really hard and really, really stressful. And the energy there is not my favorite. And I notice a lot of my coworkers getting really bogged down in it. Like every time I say, "How are you doing?" Everybody goes, "Terrible," or "Hard," or "This is rough." Um, and like it can be hard, and it is hard, and it's really hard work, and it's long hours. And I try really hard to look for places of lightness. So I try to like build some relationships with my coworkers. I try to celebrate small wins. I try to find some humor in it. And I haven't been able to turn the whole situation into a dance, but noticing like little parts in it makes the day just feel better. It brings like a sense of community and makes things lighter throughout the day. So bringing like just one or two little steps of the dance into an 8+ hour workday is where I'm practicing that most right now.
I love it. The winnable gap. Natalia does, are you in self-driving
Cars,
vehicles still? Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. A little tech.
it's a
Little
fun place to
tech.
be.
Okay, mine would be a quote I find inspirational. I always go back to the quote by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., where I'm gonna probably say this incorrectly, but it's like, if you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. It's like something like that. Just keep
Yeah,
moving forward. And that's like honestly my mantra for Waveflow. It feels like it's like there's so many things that come up, and it's like, okay, like especially with the kids, and like when I do have the gift of the daycare and the preschool and the people who are helping take care of my kids, I'm like, okay, like what can I get done today? And even if it's like one thing every day, like that eventually ladders up to something.
right,
So not like, because it's easy to get trapped in like, oh, like all these other people are like killing it and like getting funded with this insane amount of money, and I'm like bootstrapping it. It's so different. And so I try not to like worry about the whole picture, but just like, okay, like what's the one thing I can do today that like is a step towards where I'm trying to go.
right.
Um, yeah, so I love that quote.
Yeah,
Um,
that's an awesome one.
okay, let's go to our next question. Who is a leader you look up to that leads with love?
Hmm. A leader I look up to that leads with love. God, there's so many people in my head, and I'm trying to, who I'm just gonna say who comes forth first is our friend Amber, actually, who teaches yoga with us. And I think the way that she shows up is so joyful and so inspiring and so community driven. Um, and I just love like being around her because I feel like her whole goal in life, not that she doesn't have one, but not that this is what she comes in with, so I don't want to put it on her, but it's just to like spread sunlight to all the people around her, and it makes me so happy to be around her.
Amber glows, like not like
She really does.
actually literally glows. But
Yeah, she shows up
oh,
every time, and it's like the room got lighter, and there's like it's like the all the pictures of angels you see. There's like just light shining down on her everywhere. She's inspirational.
oh, Amber, I hope your ears are ringing. We've got to text her after this.
Yeah, we will.
Okay, so a leader who I look the okay, I guess my like this is a person I don't know, but Brene Brown, I'm obsessed with her books and like her entire thought process on literally everything it feels like I'm in complete alignment with. If you haven't read her books, she has really great books on vulnerability, and then specifically vulnerability in like leadership in organizations. And she's done a ton of research on like the study from her that like sticks with me the most is the one where people talk about like what they most like struggle with, not struggle with, like what they most miss about people who have passed away or like moved away. And it's like the little everyday interactions. So it's like she says it's like your kid like slamming the screen door. It's like those things that you used to find annoying. Now like there's the silence in the house. And
Yeah.
so I adore her. And she on her podcast too, she like gets very like into the granularity of like running her own company, which I think a lot of people do not do because there's like a little bit of like a shield they want to put up over like I don't need to let people see like everything that's a mess behind the scenes. And I feel like she kind of lets her guard down a little bit, even though she's this like extremely well-known, like essentially famous person. And I really admire that about her.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love her. I love everything she says, pretty much.
Okay. Share a wild and crazy thing you've tried this month.
This month. Um, This month, I don't remember what I did this month. I'm gonna go last month. My family and I took a trip to Mont Blanc, and it was our family of five plus my siblings, significant others, and the group of us hiked for about a week straight around Mont Blanc. It was like 60 miles and I don't know how many feet of elevation. Yeah, we got my parents in on it. It was their like pre-retirement thing. And I think spending that much time with your adult family is wild and crazy. Dragging everyone that you are most closely related to up a mountain and then back down the other side for 7 straight days was an adventure, to say the least. So, what about you?
Oh my God, that's so sweet. What like when you guys had finished the trip, like what was the like what's the memory when you look back on that?
Oh my God, there's so many memories. My favorite memory, there's this one, because in the Alps they have these refugios, which are like little lodges. They're like little lodges or little inns that I think were put there when, before you had, I'm assuming before you had cars, when you actually had to kind of trek through. And so there's refugios at a lot of the peaks of the mountains or at the saddles with these like amazing views. And there's this one refugio, and it was when we crossed from Switzerland into Italy. Um, I think at Refugio Elisabetta, and they had the most delicious pasta. And you have this like panoramic 360 view, and on this side is Switzerland, on that side is Italy, and you see everywhere you came from and everywhere you're going, and you're just sitting at the top eating pasta with your family, and that I think was one of my favorite moments there.
Oh, it sounds like such a amazing trip.
It was fun.
Okay, wild and crazy thing I've tried this month. I'm taking online classes like on YouTube to try and learn Python.
Oh, cool.
And the reason it feels wild and crazy is because I have it that like everyone who learns Python is like 19 years old and I'm a dinosaur compared to that. So I it's interesting because I I worked in my first like job out of college. I was on Wall Street, so I'm really, really good at Excel. And in some ways, to me, learning Python is like similar to Excel because you're like learning functions and basically like memorizing them and then iterating on them. And it's really challenging me. Like it's definitely not like I'm kind of you start learning like sort of like basic ways to put functions together is the best way I can describe it. And I definitely have to like turn a lot to like chat GPT or like an AI bot and be like, okay, what am I doing wrong with this to have it like fix my bug or whatever is like wrong with the code. And there's something very expansive for me about like just being willing to learn something new, even though like I don't know, I've had like kind of a separate career that's different. So yeah, I don't know how like wild that is, but it's definitely
I
been
mean,
something
learning something
for
new is
me.
always wild. Like
Yeah, it's
for your
challenging.
neuroplasticity, it's a risk. I commend you.
Yeah, and it also though I think is giving me this newfound appreciation for like the things that I do that aren't as hard as that. Like now, like because then I'll like go and like teach or something, and I'm like, oh, this is like I can definitely know how to do this. It's not as like intimidating. I don't know, like it puts things in perspective a little bit for me.
Yeah.
Okay, last question. Share about a ritual or a game that you'd like to make a thing or do more regularly.
Um, yeah, the thing that I've been wanting to do regularly and have had very, very limited success is a morning routine. Like, but the best mornings is when it doesn't even take that long. I just want to get out of bed and I am, what do you call it? I am trying to convert everyone to warm lemon water with ginger. Like that is my favorite thing in the morning because it's warm and it's cozy and it's refreshing too. And so I want to get out of bed, drink my warm lemon water with ginger on my patio and get sun on my face for exactly 90 seconds. You know, that's all I need. And I want to I want to evangelize others to this. That's what I was looking for, but I need to evangelize myself first. So it needs to become a thing here. But sometimes I do it, and my day is so much better with just those like 2 minutes in the morning outside with my water.
What, wait, first of all, question about the ginger. Is this like real? Like, are you using ground ginger or like are you shredding ginger into your mug?
I buy ginger root at the grocery store and I just slice it. So it's like a really thin, almost like you used a carrot peeler kind of on it. So
Yeah.
I just take like 2 slices of ginger. I like
A
real lemon.
julienne ginger, so to speak.
Julienne ginger. And I use half a lemon because I love lemon and I love the sour. And that's it. And then the water straight out of the tap. It's
Okay.
fancy.
What like comes up that would make you skip that? Or like why is that not a thing yet?
Because because I get in my own way, Kyla.
Like is it work though, or is it just
Exactly.
like the feed, like what's sucking you in and getting you away from
Yeah. There's a belief that of like scarcity around time, that I don't have enough time. And a lot of the times I feel a lot of anxiety in the morning when I wake up about everything I have to do. And so then I lay in bed for too long because I don't want to get up because I have anxiety. And then because I did that, then I actually don't have time, and I need to go. Whereas if I just dropped the story and said, today is what it is, like you do what you do today, get out of bed, do the one thing you really love for 2 minutes in the morning. That's what needs to happen here. But the weight on my shoulders, to bring it back to the beginning, feels very heavy on that one, getting out of bed in the morning. So I'm working on it.
It's a good reminder for me and everybody, right? Because like sometimes 2 minutes is like all you need
Right.
to shift.
It's it's really
Um,
a lot. Yeah, what's
that's
yours?
okay. My ritual or game I'd like to make a thing. I can't remember if I've played this with you or not. I'm obsessed. Like it's actually like a problem with this trivia game where you play trivia, but it's about the people you're playing with.
Oh, that's cool.
Have you played this with me?
No, I would
Okay.
love to though.
Well, great. We'll definitely put that on the calendar. But it's so basically how I have people do it is I send out a Google Doc and I change the questions based on the group of people. And then everyone like fills it out before the party or like the dinner or whatever. And then you get to the dinner and I've scrambled all the answers. So like I don't know who answered what, so I can play. And then everyone makes a grid. So you have like the six people who are playing and then the six questions across the top. And we project the answers onto a TV screen so you can't figure out from the handwriting. And then you try and guess which person did which answer. And in my opinion, this is like the best game ever to play at like a group event. And I don't like, and honestly, since I moved to Marin, I like haven't played it a lot with any of my like I moved here like somewhat recently. So everyone who I'm friends with here is like kind of a new friend who I've met through like either like their parents or they live in our neighborhood or something. And I have this like fear around suggesting this game to people because I'm like, people are gonna literally think I'm crazy that like I enjoy this so much.
I would love that. I
I
think it's a
know, but
great
it's
idea.
Natalia, every time I play it, and it like doesn't matter the group, right? Like I've done it with my family, I've done it with like people from work. Like it has really spanned the categories, the skip span the ages, span all the things. People are laughing so hard that they need to be like resuscitated. Like it's so funny because like I'll for example play with a group of people and I'll like get all of Andrew, who's my husband's, wrong. And it's like, how can I get Andrew's wrong when I like literally live with him and spend all of my time with him? But it's people surprise you with what they put in. So I think it's hysterical.
I love that.
Okay.
Great idea.
Well, Natalia, thanks so much for starting your day with a little gratitude with us.
Thank you,
If you
Kyla.
haven't met Natalia, look out for her name on the schedule at Baptiste, or I don't know, go discover a self-driving vehicle and talk to her about that.
I won't be in the vehicle because it's driving
Oh
itself, but
yeah, it's driving
drive in it and think of
itself.
me. Only the good ones, though. If you don't like it, go somewhere else.
And if you love practicing gratitude, if you want to try this for yourself, grab a copy of Ripple. It's a 31-day gratitude practice that you can do on your own, or you can do it with a friend in our free mobile app. We have it for iPhones and we have it for Androids too. Just search Waveflow. Have a great day, everybody. Bye, Natalia.
Thanks, Kyla. Bye.